I asked my friend for their opinion on Noragami's ending, more on that later, and had to go cry in my room when they said they hadn't even heard of it. The tragedy! During the days when it first was released, Noragami was the kind of manga that climbed people's favorites list with a dedicated passion. People could not believe how much they loved it and compared it to popular staples like One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, and Mob Psycho. And now, there are people in the anime community who don't even know it exists. Wondering why, oh why this happened? Well, I did too. Let's start from the beginning. Noragami was first published in Kodansha's monthly shonen magazine in January 2011 under the pen name Adachi Toka. This is a mashup of the names of the two female creators, Adachi, who draws the foreground and the characters, and Tokashiki, who draws the backgrounds. The two have worked together throughout their career, which started them as assistants to Motohiro Kato, best known for creating the QED series. He was actually the one who came up with their pen name. The newly minted Adachi Toka then officially debuted in 2003 as illustrators to the manga series Alive: The Final Evolution. The series was serialized in a monthly shonen magazine until 2010. It even got an anime adaptation which, sadly, was later cancelled. Do I sense a pattern? I'm kidding. The Alive anime was cancelled following its studio Gonzo's delisting from the Tokyo Stock Exchange. Anyway, after the Alive manga finished serialization in 2010, Adachi Toka started brainstorming ideas for a new series. They went back to a one-shot they had previously written about a Yato-like character and eventually developed it into Noragami. Now, for people like my friend who didn't know Noragami existed, the story follows Yato, a minor deity in Japanese, who, despite his divine status, lacks a shrine or followers and struggles to make ends meet by doing odd jobs for mere pocket change. He is accompanied on his journey to achieve his ultimate dream of garnering millions of worshippers by Hiyori, a half Ayakashi whose spirit can temporarily leave her human body, and Yukine, Yato's current Shinki and guidepost. Unlike other gods, Yato was born as the god of calamity from his father's desire to wipe out every other god in existence. In his early years, he aimed to please his father, carrying out his orders to kill people alongside Hiro, a wandering soul he transformed into a weapon known as Shinki. However, everything changed when he encountered Sakura, another Shinki. It was through her that Yato began to question the morality of his actions and to doubt his father's commands. When a god names a Shinki, they gain access to the soul's true name and memories, while the Shinki's own memories are sealed away. If a Shinki discovers the secret of their past life, they are consumed by grief and anger, transforming into what is known as a Kanama Ayakashi. Once this happens, there's no saving the Shinki's soul. This is why it's referred to as the god's greatest secret. When Sakura falls victim to this secret and dies, Yato finally opens his eyes to the harsh reality. It's this pivotal moment that prompts him to abandon his role as the god of calamity and strive to become the god of fortune, seeking to bring positivity and good fortune to the world. From the get-go, the series felt special with its likable characters, exciting and unique plot, charming humor, and beautiful art. As the characters developed and more of their heartbreaking backstories were revealed, we grew attachments with them. The way the plot was intricately woven with the characters' development was out of this world. Simply put, Noragami had all the elements needed to become a giant in the manga community. And then the anime was released. What was previously a small fandom grew larger and larger still. While manga sales still didn't exactly increase exponentially, the anime made its mark in the community. The first season started off slow, but once the second season was released, it truly gained momentum. It ended on a cliffhanger, right when one of the most important arcs of the series was about to kick off. Fans waited eagerly for another season to be greenlit, but alas, it never happened. Noragami and all its hard-earned popularity geared to a stop when one of the series' creators, Adachi Toka, got sick and they had to go on hiatus. But fans cheered them on and didn't lose hope. However, that hiatus lasted for more than a year. By that time, not only had some of the fans not exactly forgotten, but moved on from it, but also its studio had lost faith in it. In a time when complete adaptations were a relatively new phenomenon, and making more seasons for TV wasn't considered profitable if the series didn't have enough interest, Studio Bones saw it fit to let Noragami go and take on more popular series like My Hero Academia and Bungo Stray Dogs. Fans were heartbroken. Even though there was enough material in the manga before its hiatus for another season of the anime, Noragami just never gained enough traction to truly set off. Along with the unusually long hiatus, some of this loss in popularity can be attributed to the lack of marketing activities surrounding the series. Fans claimed there wasn't enough good quality merchandise, there were no follow-up games or events, and hardly any notable advertisements that could build up a hype. Additionally, even without the hiatus, Adachi Toka are incredibly private creators who are not very loud on social media platforms. No one knew what sickness exactly gripped which one of them and how long they would be out of commission for. People debated and speculated and waited and waited. When finally the manga resumed serialization, it became a monthly series. Once a month, the authors released a sort of half episode. That, and the fact that Adachi Toka went on hiatus multiple times afterwards, led to the manga's decline. Countless people forgot about it, and interest fizzled out until the fandom shrunk to half of what it was. This is unfortunately the tragic irony of the series. Yato, as a minor deity, yearned for acknowledgement and worship, but was unable to build enough interest among the masses. He dreaded the day he would be completely forgotten. This draws haunting parallels with the manga's fate as it gradually slipped from the collective consciousness of readers. Just as Yato struggled with his identity and strives for significance in a world bustling with gods and spirits, Noragami found itself overshadowed by newer series and shifting trends in the manga industry. This is a time when most manga need an anime adaptation to catapult them into the mainstream glory. I'm talking about you, Demon Slayer. And because Noragami's anime stalled when the manga first went on hiatus, increasing interest dwindled, and you were only left with those who had already picked it up and fell in love. Hell, I'd even bet there were some that really liked it through the anime, read the manga, caught up, and then forgot about it due to the lack of releases. Even when the manga got picked up again, it was sadly such an overshadowed and forgotten story with a dead fandom on most social media that there was no way continuing the anime would be profitable. Yet there were still some fans that did not give up. Anime like The Devil is a Part-Timer and Fruits Basket got greenlit despite similar hiatuses, so surely there was hope for Noragami as well. As the story neared its last arc, fans hoped sales would pick up when it ended and have enough momentum to carry on to an opening in between the other flagship series of the time, paving the way for one more season. The manga was being forced to wrap up way sooner than originally planned in terms of plot progression, so it was somewhat expected that the ending wouldn't be what they expected, but fans still hoped. However, sales remained abysmal for the tankobon and didn't generate enough revenue. The manga ended on January 6th, 2024, with 27 tankobon volumes, and there was virtually no hype. Even the ending itself garnered mixed feelings, when what it needed was an ending with a bang to attract the studios towards continuing its anime. While it did wrap up many loose ends, there were aspects in the ending that left people wanting more. For instance, I felt there could have been a clearer explanation for how everything miraculously resolved after the events in the preceding chapters. It seemed a bit too convenient, especially concerning Yato's 1,000-year struggle to gain recognition, which apparently got resolved through something as modern as trending on Twitter. Additionally, I'm curious about how Yato and Hiyori's relationship would function now that she has regained her memories of him after the final chapter. That being said, I don't necessarily oppose a happy ending. However, given all the tension and angst built up in the previous chapters, I was hoping for a conclusion that felt more impactful and believable. But what we got felt more like a storybook outline rather than a polished end. It could have definitely done with some additional panels between the conflict resolution, life after, and a final panel or two hinting at the epilogue. In a nutshell, after all the intense conflicts in the main plot, the end felt way too... So here's what happened, with no actual depth. Nevertheless, instead of dwelling on the shortcomings, I prefer to focus on the journey the characters underwent and how they each found their own version of a happy ending. Ultimately, it's about celebrating the resolution rather than nitpicking at its flaws, but not everyone understands that, do they? This is why I'm afraid 2 anime seasons is all we will ever be getting. And it's so heartbreaking, because Noragami deserved so much more. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.